we would be remiss to not mention one of our own Panther fans has made the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame, and it is Mr. Luke Kuechly. And before I turn it over to Stu to just kind of talk about why this man is in the Pro Bowl, I'll give you the facts, but he can tell you from like watching him, like why he's in the Pro Bowl, or not Pro Bowl, the
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, thank you. 8-year career, 7-time Pro Bowl selection, 5-time All-Pro, All-Decade selection for the 2010s. He was Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. That was his second year in the league. He had 3 concussions during his career, which is why he retired. This is the fun fact here. Luke Kuechly and Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor are the only linebackers to have won Defensive Rookie of the Year as well as Defensive Player of the Year. Think about that for a minute. In 100 years of NFL football, there's only been 2 linebackers that have won Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year in their career, and one of them is a Carolina Panther, Luke Kuechly. Mm-hmm. 3-down, sideline to sideline guy. He had 100 tackles in all 8 of his seasons, and he led the league in tackles twice in 12 and 2024. He deflected 67 passes in his career, and my man had 18 interceptions in 8 seasons at linebacker. Like, he is a video game character, like basically like that you would make, like in like if you could create one, you would create Luke Kuechly, like to do all this. I'm gonna turn it over to you for the final word on this because he was a very cerebral player, and for me, he kind of changed the way I view linebackers. Because before, middle linebackers to me were like same old Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis. I'm going to kill you. And I was kind of like, don't run at him. Run that way or run that way because he's in the middle. Luke changed it where you can't run away from me. Like, I know where you're going to be before you get there. And you aren't going to expect me to be there, but I'm going to be there. And I'm going to be there 50 times. Right. Like all game, you're going to see this number all day. Talk about the legend of Luke Kuechly, because I don't think it took very long for the players to realize that this dude is just different, like compared to other folks.
Like, you know, one of the first times I saw Luke Kuechly in practice, you know, we ran a reverse in practice, and he chased down the wrong play fast. It was so fast. We thought the guy that carried out the fake had the ball.
The wrong play because he did it so well.
Man, listen, you know when you got the little reverse, you hand it off and you just fake it. Man, Luke Kuechly flashed so fast in front of our eyes. I was like, oh, buddy must have the ball. And then next thing you know, the reverse is going around the other way for a touchdown. But hey, if you're gonna be wrong like Luke Kuechly.
All the way wrong.
All the way wrong.
All the conviction. Because like
it was just, but everyone just laughed like, man,
I bet that didn't happen again.
Great effort.
I bet that didn't happen again. I bet Luke did not make that same mistake again when that reverse got
but you know, he was diagnosing, you know, plays like a cyborg. I mean, out the gate, you know, and it's not by mistake. It's not by just, oh, that's just how he is. No, how he is a hard worker. He's he's gifted in the patience to just figure it out. I think a lot of guys, you know, in a situation like him where you are the play caller, where you are the guy that's lining people up and you have these responsibilities, it can get overbearing. It can get too much for you, right? And it never became too much for Luke. It became everything to him.
So it seemed like he took pride in it. Like
it was everything to him to be able to get guys aligned, to know that he was counted on, to know that he could be the guy that would do his job so well that it would inspire other people around him to do their jobs as well. And it was so infectious that the offense saw it, the special teams saw it, coaching staff seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luke was probably watching more film than some of the coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is a guy that was watching film, but not just watching film, but diligently writing notes like he was a rookie,
He was
writing
using like
notes
an
over
iBox or
and
something. When he was like
over.
a Xbox watching it, I remember seeing footage of him
Yeah,
watching
yeah, that
film
was
with
the
like a
Xbox.
Xbox
Yeah,
controller.
that
Yeah.
was the Xbox control that we use for our film, to be able to go back and forth. You know, the tech guys, they
Mm.
can do anything with
Oh,
everything.
okay. Yeah. Oh, but he's using the Xbox for like every time
But
they show it's like
but he, you know, the way he studied, man, it was obsessive, and that's what it takes to be a Hall of Famer. That's what it takes to be as good as Luke Kuechly. Is you have to live and breathe and eat and sleep, you know, his craft. That's what he did, and that's what made him so great. But what made him even greater, was his ability to meet guys where they were. You know, we talk about emotional intelligence with coaching staff. Luke Kuechly had an emotional intelligence with his teammates and his coaching, right? A guy that understood who he was in the locker room, who he could be in the locker room, and who he wanted to be. He wanted to be a guy that put the team first, and he did that every single day. And he was a guy that just simply did his job. If he told you what what it takes to be a good football player, he would say, "Do your job." And your job is to be prepared. Your job is to have the game plan. Your job is to be aligned, to know your assignment, and then to be vicious, to be a straight animal on the football field. And that's how you know, that's how he went about his business every single day. And I even see glimpses of it now, you know, being, um, coaching with him and Greg. You know, Luke is the same way with our kids, you know, our middle schoolers. Obviously he, you know, dumbs it down to where
I
they
hope so.
understand it,
Those
obviously.
kids go home. Mama, my
But
head hurts. It's so
but it's but the game is simple, man, if you allow it. And the only way you allow the game to be simple is if you get reps. And whatever
mm,
those reps look like, those reps come from, you know, watching film, comes from taking notes comes from writing and drawing the plays over and over and over until it just it's ingrained in your head. It comes
muscle
from
memory.
getting your rest and sleeping at night and taking care of your body and not allowing for any distractions to come near you, because you're protecting not just your football career, but you're protecting the team that you're on, right?
Yeah. You reminded me of, I remember who said it, but somebody was talking about Michael Jordan, and they were like, Michael Jordan might be the one person on earth that went to work and did his job better than anyone else has done their job like before. And I was like, that applied to a lot of people. I could apply that to Luke
Mhm.
Kuechly. Like
Yeah.
Luke Kuechly is probably one of those people, or is one of those people that went to work and he did his job better than anyone else has done their job. He was that
Yeah.
good at his job. Like he just was so immersed in it. And I love the fact he's still a part of the community. He seems super approachable. I love how he's on the radio broadcast, breaking it down. Like he
Hmm.
breaks it down in a way on the defensive side that was like refreshing when Tony Romo started. And then Romo started getting annoying a little bit because he was like kind of predicting the play before it happened and he had to pull it back. Luke's never gotten to that point. He's just able to break down after the
Why
play
it
is over
happened.
what
Just tell
happened.
us,
Yeah.
tell me why this happened,
What's
Luke.
going on?
And
And
he can
like my
explain it
wife
to
can
you in
understand it.
finite
Like anyone
detail.
can understand it in terms of if
Yeah.
you don't watch football every day or if you watch it 24/7, he'll break it down for you in a way where you don't feel dumb like while you're
Yeah.
like listening to it. And nobody deserves it more than him, man. Matter of fact, I wish he was first ballot. I feel like he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Don't
He
know
should have
why he
been.
didn't get in last year, but
Yeah, I think the Hall of
now he's in.
Fame stuff has a lot of work to, they had a lot of work on, they got a lot to work on when it comes to their process
Mhm.
of getting guys in, and the guys that are still, you know, on the outside looking in even. I just think that there's, I
Smitty
mean,
should have been in
eventually,
already too.
yeah, eventually he'll get in there, but
Yeah,
it's
there's a
like,
gut of wide receivers right there that he's got to wait around too. I understand why Belichick didn't get in, but they're trying to teach him a lesson, blah, blah, blah. I understand that, even though that was dumb. Robert Kraft should be in the Hall of Fame. Like the owner of the Patriots, my man has
yeah,
been to like 12 Super Bowls with 3 different head coach quarterback combos over 30 years. Like
yeah.
Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame. He ain't won anything in 30 years. He's in the
Jerry,
Hall of Fame.
Jerry,
Put Robert
Jerry,
Kraft in there.
Jerry set the table, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why he in the Hall of Fame. He set the table for business on how
That's true.
how NFL is conducting itself now, especially for these owners.
You're
You
absolutely
know,
right, actually, because he split Dallas out from
yeah,
they were revenue sharing the whole thing, and he was like, "Wow, I'm the Dallas Cowboys. We should be
yeah.
getting like 20% of this."
We are the star. As a
Yeah,
matter of fact, you
getting
should be
break.
paying me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
as a matter of
that's why
fact,
they still
you want to
suck.
sue me? Oh, you want to sue me? Well, I'm gonna sue
Yeah.
you back.
Talk to my friend Al Davis and see how I got to make this happen. So yeah, I understand that logic, but yeah, Robert Kraft should be in. Honestly, Bill Belichick should be too. I'd imagine eventually he will get in. A man's got more Super Bowl rings than any coach and more wins. No, he didn't pass. Dude from
All I know is
Miami.
gonna be all hell. It's gonna be all hell breaking loose when Andy Reid get in that first ballot.
Ooh, that would be horrible. And then it brings up the
It's gonna
whole.
because it's gonna be perfect timing, right?
It
It's like,
will.
oh, it's because he was so far removed, and
Tom Brady has to be first ballot, right?
if he ain't first ballot,
They're gonna
I ain't
burn that
watching
building
NFL.
down.
I ain't watching NFL ever again.
Have you been there before in Canton?
Nah, not yet.
Dude, it's right on 77. Like it's right beside the interstate. So like if you're going to Cleveland, you pass it. I've been there once. There's this football stadium right beside it. That's where they play the Hall of Fame game.
Hall of Fame games. Yeah.
On TV, it looks big, but when you drive past it on Interstate 77, it's like this big. It's literally like, it looks like this when you drive past it.
Make sure you stop by.
And then the Hall of Fame is right beside it in this little building, like with a little field in front of it. But you drive past, like, oh, that's the stadium they play the Hall of Fame game in. Why does it look like it only seats like 5,000 people? Because it's like a high school stadium or whatever. But if Tom Brady don't get in first ballot, my man owns every quarterback record there is. He has 7 Super Bowl wins. Like, I don't think teaching Tom Brady a lesson by making him not first ballot is the way to go. I think it's going to make it where everyone believes the Hall of Fame is a joke. And actually, kind of been talking like that the past 2 weeks with Kraft and Belichick not getting in. So Luke got in. That's all I care about right now. Luke got in. We got Panthers going in. So we'll have somebody celebrate in August when he does his announcement speech. That should be a party. Y'all gonna be up there. You probably gonna go up there. You'll probably be the first time August then if you're gonna go for Luke's induction.
Yeah, that'll be my first time going up there. So yeah, I'm gonna go up there. Me and D'Angelo somewhere in that Hall of Fame. They got like a little plaque or something like that for first duo to have 1,100 yards rushing.
Yes, my light just went out, which is probably a signal for for us to start. Yeah, that's in there, and there's a plaque for Jake Delhomme, Moose Muhammad's. It's like 79-yard touchdown pass in Super Bowl 30 against the Patriots. It's still the longest, I think, pass play in Super Bowl history. So that's in there too. So that's pretty cool. And it's not just the NFL; it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So you get to see all these different leagues, Negro leagues, and all this other stuff that was going on early before the NFL kind of gobbled everything up. So. I don't know why my light went out. I guess it's trying to tell me. Welcome into a Super Bowl aftermath edition of Believe in Panthers here on Believe Podcast Networks, brought to you by the fine folks over at FanDuel. Desmond Johnson in the house with the Panthers' all-time leading rusher, Jonathan Stewart, and we are in the end of the 2025 NFL season as the Seattle Seahawks beat the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60, 29-13. To win their second Super Bowl title in franchise history. And Stu, just starting off, initial thoughts about this Super Bowl. We were talking off the camera. I felt like it was kind of boring in the beginning. It was so much defense, and it was starting to feel like that Rams Patriots Super Bowl from a couple of years ago. But things started picking up a little bit in the second half. But it just felt like Seattle was just a better team. What was your thoughts watching the Super Bowl initially?
I think we all, if you think about it, we all anticipated, the Seattle Seahawks dominating this game from start to finish. I was just actually more surprised that there was not any touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was very interesting. You have 2 defensive-minded coaches, and they were out there settling for field goals early, right? So, I mean, Seattle was, which says a lot about where, I think Seattle's confidence was in their defense outright. I mean, going down there, in red zone, you've seen all playoffs long, people kind of, timid to go for the kick. Do I go for it? Do I go for the touchdown? Do I try to convert? There's just a lot of, play calling, scheduling, just being okay with settling for a field goal. I mean, there was 4th down, there was a lot of 3rd down run play calls on 3rd and long, right?
Yeah.
And it just speaks volumes to, what the strategy was as far as trying to win this football game. Now, in previous years, if this was the Philadelphia Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs, we wouldn't have not seen the complacency like we saw in this game, and it just is largely due to the fact that the Seattle Seahawks defense paired up against the Patriots offense was a total mismatch. Total mismatch. And I just think overall this year, without Patrick Mahomes, without Josh Allen, without Lamar Jackson, without Joe Burrow in the equation of being the representative in the AFC in the playoffs in the Super Bowl, you're not going to get any points. You're not going to get any firepower. You're not, and I think that's what we saw in this game. You have the team that wins by default. Essentially, that's kind of how I feel about it. You know, uh, I'm glad that the MVP of the league um, was at the house.
Yeah, yeah, for
You
real.
know, but because if it was Drake Maye, we would have been sitting here scratching our heads, kind of like, I'm not really sure about this one, right?
And-
And it speaks volumes also too to the fact that hey, once you get to the playoffs, it's a different ball game. It's not regular season anymore. Um, but kudos to the Seattle Seahawks for how they played, how they showed up. Their players showed up exactly how we intended them to show up. And shout out to Christian Gonzalez.
Ooh, yeah,
He's the only player for the New England Patriots that was out there playing ball. I
yes,
mean, he
plays. Yeah,
locked he locked Njigba up, bro. He locked him up for the most part and deflected the deep ball threat. Shaheed, the one throw that was down the middle, deep
hmm,
ball.
yep,
He came out of nowhere and said, "Nah, not today."
yep.
Right?
I mean, he's the only one really flash that was
Yeah,
doing something like right for
yeah.
New England. They just got overwhelmed.
But I'm just glad that, it can be a boring football game. It can be a boring Super Bowl. But you want to know what I'm excited about? Kenneth Walker becoming the
Super Bowl
first
MVP.
MVP running back of the Super Bowl since Terrell Davis.
Wow.
That's what I'm excited about.
So almost
Okay.
twenty
Yeah.
six years ago, whatever. What was that, 99
Yeah.
when it happened? Like,
Everybody wants to talk about them running backs and how they're just guys, right?
yeah.
Oh, you can replace this guy. You can replace that guy. You can't replace Kenneth Walker.
See, and that was the draw for me for the Super Bowl because there were players in this game that I either knew or I've interviewed or I've been around or they're connected to me in some way, shape, or form. Kenneth Walker Jr. started off at Wake Forest, right here down the road from me. He was there for I think 2 years. He transferred to Michigan State and then he got drafted in
Mhm.
the second round of the NFL draft. So I knew about Kenneth Walker and they actually talked about it on the Super Bowl about how it was helping him when Dave Clawson was the head coach at Wake Forest is when Kenneth Walker was there and they ran this like slow mesh kind of RPO type deal where the quarterback and the running back would hold on to it like after the snap. They would hold on to it together for like a hard 2-3
Yeah.
seconds before he would take off. And on the broadcast, I noticed that they mentioned that that's probably helping Kenneth Walker in this game because if you notice, he was kind of
Oh yeah,
walking
the
to the
patient
line.
runs,
Yeah,
the duo runs that they were running. He was very, very, very patient, and then he would just hit it,
yeah, he
explode
was
out of
it.
a cannon. Yeah,
That came my way.
Very Le'Veon Bell-esque,
That's a good
might I
comparison. Yeah,
add.
that's a great
Um,
comparison.
but it was fun to watch him run because looking at that playoff game against the Rams, he was out there shaking him up. He was shaking him up for the last all playoff games.
Dude, if
If it
they'd
wasn't
had
for
what's the other running back that got hurt? Charbonnet?
Charbonnet,
If they'd had him too, like this might have been
I
like a
don't know, man.
blowout.
No, no,
Like,
no. I don't know now. I don't know. I honestly think that him getting the bulk of these carries for throughout the playoffs really ignited his game. I mean,
could be.
I was
Yeah.
talking to an old teammate of mine today, and we were sitting there talking. I was talking to Greg Olson, and he was like, "Man, your boy Kenneth Walker. I think he needed these carries.
Yeah.
To be able to, and as a ball carrier, as a receiver, as a quarterback, the more reps, the more opportunities you get, the more in rhythm that you are. And what better time and place to be in rhythm other than the Super Bowl. Now, I
Okay.
will say this, the Charbonnet, the Walker situation helped extend their health throughout the season, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. We
why
saw
you
a
have
lot of him in
dogs.
our game.
When it
It
comes
was, yeah.
when it comes to December, that's when you got to have a number. Okay, you got to have a guy. Your guy is your go-to in December, and we saw that in the Rams. We saw that, with a lot of these teams when they getting down to we got to have these games in the playoffs. They rely on one guy,
Yeah.
and the Seahawks, by default, had to rely on Walker, and I think that was a awesome opportunity for him. Super happy for him and his family. It's crazy how his pops, his first game ever watching him in the
Oh.
NFL live,
Super Bowl
and
six.
it's the Super Bowl. So I mean, it says a lot about kind of his background a little bit. Very modest, very humble. But man, super happy about the running back. Set an example for all running backs in the National Football League, college and high school and youth football.
Like you said, Walker, 135 yards on 27 carries against the Patriots. He added 26 receiving yards on 2 catches. First running back to win Super Bowl MVP since Denver's Terrell Davis in the 97 season, Super Bowl 32. Those 135 rushing yards are also the most by a player in a Super Bowl since Davis. He had a stretch in the first 30 minutes that led to Seattle's second field goal where he had like a 29-yard run and he had like a 30-yard run that got him down into the red zone. And then
Gashing them.
New England, they stiffened up at that point and they had to settle for a field goal. New England's defense kept them in this game as long as they could.
Yeah, the New England defense did their very, very best
They
to
tried,
keep these boys in the mix, and they just could not find an ounce of offense.
It's like the
Not
Tom
even
and
an
Jerry
ounce. Not
cartoon where like the dam is breaking and you keep like using fingers to try to like plug all the holes and like more holes are like happening. Like that's what it felt like watching. And then one of the other players that I kept an eye on that unfortunately, and I told my wife this on the couch, unfortunately his name kept getting called, but the position he's getting played, that's not good if your name's getting called during it. And it was offensive line for New England. They were starting 2 rookies on the left side, Will Campbell, their first round draft pick, and Jared Wilson, who I actually know. I know Jared. He played for West Forsyth here, one of the schools I have for high school football here, and he was the very first guest on that coach's show like 7 years ago when we first started during I think it was during COVID, so like 5 or 6 years ago. He went to Georgia out of West Forsyth. West Forsyth's constantly sending offensive linemen to D1 SEC schools. They just come out here and pluck them and take them away. Yeah. And then he got drafted by the Patriots and he's starting, and man, he had that one play where the dude bulldozed him into Drake Maye. And I turned to my wife, I was like, oh man, I hope that wasn't Jared Wilson. And then they showed it and I was like, oh my gosh, because if you're an offensive lineman, you kind of don't want your name called during the game, because if your name's being called, you're probably doing something wrong. You normally don't hear offensive linemen getting called out on a game or whatever. So that was there. He had the Drake Maye situation. Like it just
that was one of the reasons why Drake Maye and company, the offense was stifled by the Seahawks, right?
The Seahawks just kept loading that side and just
we knew going into this game that the defense of the Seattle Seahawks was potent. We knew that from the get-go because they were a defense that thrives on sending 4. Okay? Let's just send 4 and we will make your life miserable. Oh, this game we're gonna send some slot blitzes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got home a lot.
So they got
4.
So as far as the pressure, right? It was almost like half of Drake Maye's drop back passes, he was getting pressured. Half of them. So every other pass attempt, he had somebody on his tail. So and to be able to have a sack record in the Super Bowl, these boys had 6 sacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It felt like they had 12.
Tied for the record. They almost had 7.
Yeah.
They took it back, but it was a constant collapse in the pocket for Drake Maye. He had no chance, bro. Yeah. And then you said Will Campbell and Jared Wilson. I feel bad, but not that bad. You in the Super Bowl, man.
He's starting. Okay? You are starting as a rookie in the Super Bowl.
You are a starter, and you are in the Super Bowl, son. You need to buckle up and know the count, the snap count, and hold your water. Don't be playing on your heels. That's their problem, man. Yeah. Like you see, it was it was something that they just went in and lackluster performance at the offensive line spot. And the Seahawks took full advantage of it. I mean, straight armed, straight bull rushes, guys coming off the slot, confusing the quarterback. I mean, you talk about the physical play at the line of scrimmage. Let's talk about coverage. Hmm? My
Blanket. Yeah,
goodness
there was
gracious.
nowhere to go.
There was nowhere to go.
And I know we said we didn't want to compare him to the Legion of Boom because that was a special group, kind of like the '85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens or whatever. But this Seahawk defense, they weren't number one in the league, but I went to go look.
I'm gonna blame this success. Yes, the players played really well, but I'm gonna blame the success and the butt whooping that the
Mhm.
Patriots got on Mike McDonald. That
That's a good
boy
person
had
to
a
blame.
game plan.
That's a
Listen,
good person to blame.
that boy had a game plan. Okay, so you talk about playing zone coverage, right? You putting him in a bind if you getting pressure. Because now whatever his reads were, especially those late adjustments, pre-snap reads, that's
Mhm.
what they were so good at, man. They were so good at, showing one thing pre-snap and then at the last minute getting into what they want to be in. And what that does is it puts a guy like Drake Maye, a young quarterback, in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
seeing one thing, seeing one sim pressure this way, a guy coming off the slot this way, and then all of a sudden, linebacker drops in coverage, defensive line drops in coverage, and now the pressure is coming from your backside, right? So their game plan was a thing of art. So
Mhm.
if you were a defensive minded like fan, player, coach watching this game, you were excited because you got to see exactly what it was that would dominate a Super Bowl team in the most pivotal moments of their career.
It-
Literally stifled.
every once in a while, you get one of these Super Bowls where, like, yeah, both the teams made it there, and on paper, it looks like it might be a good matchup. But everyone's kind of talking all week, like, yeah, that team is going to be a lot better than that team. It made me
Yeah.
think, hey, how did we get the brakes beaten off of us by this New England team? Because I'm sitting there like, they don't really win any matchup in terms of they got the better receiver or they got the better offensive line or running back or whatever. It's just kind of like a by committee type thing. Now Gonzalez is going to be the best cornerback more often than not, like comparing to
Bro,
whoever you're going up against.
he's
But
nice. And he
he,
went to Oregon too.
yeah,
Quack quack.
I'm starting to think they're kind of who they remind me. They remind me of the Commanders last year because the
Mm.
Commanders weren't supposed to be there, and they got hot, got on a little run, and got deep into the playoffs of the NFC Championship game. They kind of remind me of that because honestly, they probably should have lost to Denver if it didn't start
Yeah.
snowing. Denver was probably going to beat them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I think the snow helped the Patriots, when it
well, they had a
came
lead.
to
They had a lead when it
yeah,
started. And nobody scored again. So, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, nobody can move the ball. So, it almost like they got pushed into the Super Bowl by default. And then Seattle, to your point, it's really rare when somebody has a defensive game plan and it works in the Super Bowl like all game. Like Belichick's done that a couple of times. They just seem like they knew what they're going to do. And then the Patriots, I see it in high school a lot. The Patriots never adjusted and did anything different. They came out in the same formation, same set, same motion,
Yeah.
everything, and just actually they weren't even doing a lot of motion. They were just lining up
Yeah.
and dropping Drake back.
They were lining up, dropping Drake back and hoping that he would be able to. What they wanted to do was they wanted to get the outside, route combinations going, but that's what the Seahawks took away. They play everything in zone. They like to play things in front, so there's not a lot of opportunities for you to go down deep unless you're throwing into like triple coverage here and there.
That's what he tried.
so
Yeah, yeah. Well, they tried it once
so
or twice, but it wasn't gonna.
so they
Yeah.
so the only hope that he had was to have a good pass pro that would give him the opportunity to deliver, into those tight pockets, those tight windows on time and not rushed. What he was doing was, he thought his read was in the flat or the curl, and then next thing you know, that pre-snap read um has him second guessing because now all of a sudden whatever you thought you saw is not what it is.
Yeah.
And now you're over here having to rush and throw a quick pass to an area that you should have been looking at in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So a lot of the man, it was a brilliant, defensive minded game on the Seahawks behalf. And the Patriots played pretty well They gave themselves a chance.
They just didn't have the firepower to match up once Seattle started scoring and pulling away. New England wasn't built to like, catch up. And then one thing they did that they took away from Drake Maye that he was really good at all year, him being able to run. Like when the play breaks down, like Seattle was on top of that. Like as soon as even after a while, he stopped trying to run. It was like he was thinking about it. He's like, no, I'll be better off just throwing this little 3-yard out.
He had a couple of runs right there, in the middle of the field, but eventually, Seattle Seahawks, they figured out like, hey, we'll just make sure we have somebody in the middle of the field.
So let me ask you, let me ask you these two questions before we move on, because we're going to condense it a little bit because I want to get to a couple of things before we get out. Drake Maye is 23. He was 10 years ago at Super Bowl 50 watching you guys go up against the Broncos in the same building. 10 years later, he's starting in the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold is only 25 years old, if I'm not mistaken. He got drafted in 2020 as a 20-year-old. Second overall to the Jets. Just a bad situation to be in. Who would you take for the next 5 years? Drake Maye or Sam Darnold?
Sammy D. Sam Darnold proved for the last 2 years how good of a quarterback he is.
He should be in his prime at this point.
He's also proved how good of a playoff quarterback he is. Mm-hmm. He has 0 interceptions in the playoffs. Probably has somewhere around 600 yards passing, probably 6 touchdowns or something like that. And I mean, my man's showed up when it mattered. And that's what you want out of a quarterback. I don't care what situation you're in. Yes, he has a great defense. They had a run game that he was able to be supported in his playoff run, but he had to do his job as a quarterback, which is very hard to do apparently, because not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
And so
there's only 32 starting. So
I'm a huge fan of Sam Darnold. I love the way he carries himself. I love his demeanor. I love his personality. Got a chance to hang out with him this past summer at Christian McCaffrey's wedding, and the dude is a bro. I mean, it's fun watching guys that you have a sense of have some success.
He seems laid back. Like real laid back
like
guy.
A guy that you feel like, man, no matter what, this guy's demeanor is going to carry us all the way through.
You know what's crazy too? As I watched the pregame and his interview on Peacock, and then the game itself, and I couldn't help but like my mind wandered to an alternate reality where Sam Darnold never got let go by Carolina, and he's still here, and he's 25. And
you remember when people was over there talking about, hey, the trading cards? Everybody was like, "Yo, you better get that Sam Darnold trading card."
Bro, I told you he reminded me of Troy Aikman on this show after they beat the Cowboys. They were 3-0. We were cooking, and then he got hurt or something happened. And
he an athlete. He can move. He's tall. He ran in the Super Bowl, and he ain't been running.
Right? Yeah.
I've also been talking about that. I've been talking about boy. Listen now.
Was it the same class as
It's
Baker
not
Mayfield
even a question, man. Listen, this is a guy that's Josh Allen. Okay, and them other boys, right? You might as well put him right there in the mix.
Same draft class. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, all of them. He's the first one out of that class to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
After the journey he's been on. He's been on 5 teams. All he's done is basically kind of win everywhere he's going, except for the Jets. But
Josh Allen got the most playoff experiences without a Super Bowl.
They open up as the early pick for Super Bowl 61. I have it written down right here. Way too early pick Super Bowl 61. I think Buffalo opened as the favorite in the AFC. I think the Seahawks and the Rams are tied for favorite in the NFC. I'm saying it's going to be none of them because it never is. We didn't pick Seattle, New England for the Super Bowl. Like,
what's the wackiest? What's the colors of the Super Bowl logo?
Where are they next year? Super Bowl. Where are they next year? 61.
Because that's gonna make me.
So that's the script.
Because I mean, this year it was what color? It was green.
They're still in Los Angeles. They'll be in Inglewood.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, actually, the colors are like green. It look like dolphin colors, actually, like green, orange.
Oh, that might be Broncos, man. Might be the Broncos.
Ooh. Broncos were green. I think they do. They got a little trim or something with it.
No, the Broncos got orange.
Orange, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like an orange, green colored looking logo.
Broncos, Philadelphia. Broncos, Philly.
I hope not. That's not what I want.
Broncos, Green Bay.
I want Panthers,
Oh yeah, we always want Panthers, baby. Listen,
I mean, it kind of fits I mean, Seattle, like Dan Morgan, Dave Canales, they came from Seattle, right? And we feel like they're kind of building a blueprint similar to what Seattle has built over the past couple of years. They got the quarterback in place they wanted. They started putting in pieces. They've drafted very well. I think Dan Morgan just took that blueprint and brought it to Carolina and just sprinkled a little bit of Panther dog on it. And now, how far away do you think we really are to being competitive, like top of the conference?
What's the safety's name? Eamon Ward?
Oh, yeah, he wasn't even drafted. Yeah, he got him off the street or something.
We need a guy like that because my boy was all over the place.
Dan finds those dudes. I was watching Rashid, the wide receiver, because I keep seeing us connect to him because he's supposed to be a free agent after this is all over with.
I like him too. Yeah,
free agency starts before the draft, so we might have some free agency to talk about before we even get to the draft. I forgot they flipped them, so free agency comes first and then the draft, which actually makes more sense. You can fill in your holes and then not reach in the draft, instead of before we see the draft and then free agency. But Dan's only got a couple holes here to fill, and the NFC South is kind of in flux. Tampa Bay's older. I don't think they're bringing Mike Evans back. I don't know what's happening with the Saints, although they did kind of push a little bit at the end of the year.
Look, the Saints going to be all right next year. I think the Saints will be better. All right. I think the Falcons going to be better than what people think, as long as that young boy James Pierce ain't in too much trouble. I'm not really sure what's going on with that situation.
Who did they hire? Who did the Falcons hire again for head coach?
The boy from Browns.
Stefanski.
Stefanski, yeah.
Now that could go either way because I don't know if they're going to end up keeping the quarterback they have that's got the bad knees.
Kirk Cousins about to be up out of there, and Penix.
I saw they're about to cut him. Penix is going to be there. They might draft another quarterback this year, and get a Stefanski guy. But this quarterback draft is weak. So I say all that. Carolina seems the most equipped. They have a base on offense and defense to work with. The other thing I kept thinking about during the Super Bowl again. What if Dan Morgan had actually signed Milton Williams, and we had Milton Williams beside Derek Brown all year? All year long. We allowing like 80 yards a game.
Milton went to that fool's goal, didn't he? Milton Williams went to that fool's goal. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get to the Super Bowl and lose." Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Don't be New England. They did it. Don't be like the veteran Panthers over here.
New England's one of the few teams that because they only won 4 games last year. I think it's the biggest turnaround.
Yeah,
in NFL history.
I think they're gonna go right back down to 0 though.
That's why I said they remind me of Washington, because I think that's what's gonna happen too. Where now I hope Drake Maye don't get hurt or anything, because they were battering.
Drake Maye is gonna be okay. I hope he thrives for Myers Park's sake. Shout out to Myers Park, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Did you notice
I hope he thrives,
intro?
Man.
Did you notice the intro? He said Myers. He didn't say University of North Carolina. You know what's going on with all that?
Shout out to Myers Park.
You know what's going on? You know why he did all that?
Why?
Because for some reason, Bill Belichick still harbors some sort of resentment or something towards the Patriots. So all this season, while Drake Maye's been having this fantastic year, the University of North Carolina, the football program, has refused to claim him, to be that's our guy. Good luck to Drake Maye, yada yada. And it sounds like it's because Bill Belichick doesn't want anything to do with the Patriots, because they wouldn't even allow Patriot scouts. They wouldn't allow Patriot scouts to practice at Carolina. So he was like, I ain't gonna call out UNC.
You don't know what my mama always told me?
What's that?
God don't like ugly. Okay? And so all this hating y'all doing, going back and forth, even on Drake Maye's side. Look, man, if it's coming from animosity, it ain't good.
No,
if it's coming from animosity, then all right.
It's just so petty.
I love how you pay homage to Myers Park, but look,
you
went to UNC now. Okay?
Everybody else at the college, pretty much.
Bill Belichick, get off the pissing pot. All right.
It's so bad. It looks bad for the university. It looks bad for Belichick. I feel bad for Drake Maye. It's why would you not, as the University of North Carolina, why would you not want to tout the greatest quarterback you have produced at this position ever? Ever. There's no, I was going back through, it's is there another quarterback that played at Carolina? I could be oh, he's probably up there. He's probably made it to the Super Bowl, started this and that. No, no, there's no one. And see, you don't know, because you went to Oregon.
The closest thing to that is Lawrence Taylor.
I mean, in terms of producing some kind of NFL talent, yeah, pretty much. We're gonna talk about Lawrence Taylor
in a bit. Hall of Famers, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got a friend that's going into the Hall of Fame. We're gonna talk about Lawrence Taylor in just a bit. Before we get to that, though, Thoughts on the halftime show, because that's been the main, and people ain't really talk about the game. I got on my social media today, and
That's because the
everyone was
game
talking
was
about
over with. The
yeah, it
game was
really
over
was.
with.
I was
Man, they
man,
just
I was
playing. They kicking these field goals and running on third downs on purpose just to keep it close.
they were showing like the wind direction just so we could like see what's happening. It's blowing about 10 miles an hour. It might affect the ball, dude.
Man,
Right
that
down
was
the
the
middle.
most ridiculous football Super Bowl I've seen.
I'm so happy, and it's probably still there too. After watching all the division about watching this halftime show or that halftime show, I did go into it like I'm not that familiar with Bad Bunny's work, but I also am not dumb enough to think that I've never heard his songs before. I just probably didn't know it was him because he's the highest streamed artist in the world. Like everyone, he's out
this
there,
was
right?
the most watched Super Bowl halftime show ever.
He just beat out Kendrick Lamar from last year by like 1 million or what. It was like 135 million people watch this thing.
Now, mind you, we got cell phones, we got laptops, we got all the things to watch it wherever we want to watch it now. So that's the reason why we jumping up ahead of these people that were before us. But I will say this, okay? I appreciated the artistry. I appreciated the cinematography. I appreciate the intentionality too with, Puerto Rico and, just the culture that they displayed as far as, the people in grass suits and like certain homages that it was a great opportunity for them to, showcase on such a national level. But what I will say though is I ain't understand a word they were saying until Lady Gaga got on there.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, oh, some English. But that's on me because I've told people all the time. It's like I'm 48. I probably should have learned some Spanish by now. Like my daughter can almost speak it fluently. Like she's learning in high school and she can like talk sentences and talk and understand people. But what I was saying on Peacock, I found because it was like 5:45. I was like, I don't want to sit there and watch all this pregame nonsense. I'll come back at the kickoff. So I started poking around Peacock, and it was this like 22-minute documentary on Bad Bunny that just came out 2026. I was like, all right, let me check this out so I can learn about him. Man, I'm so glad I watched that documentary. I learned so much about this dude. Like, I'm so impressed by what he does for the territory of Puerto Rico. Like, I didn't know. He opened up a residency in Puerto Rico that brought in hundreds of millions of dollars in tourism. And like, it was just talking about how the local restaurants and even taxi drivers, where everyone just felt this bump because he came and did 35 shows during the summer. So if you're going to Puerto Rico for vacation, you got to go check out the Bad Bunny residency. Like that's like, instead of him being in Vegas, he did it in his home, like that. The charity work that he's done, the money he's donated, the stuff that he does for education and the water supply and all this stuff.
The water supply was huge.
Dude, by the time I got done watching, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this whole halftime show now because I've got so much respect for what this guy is doing. And he did it all himself. Like he started off on YouTube, not a record label. He started off just putting his music out on YouTube and people started finding it. And I'm like, honestly, you got people out here saying that it's not American, this and that for him to be on the halftime show. If you go watch that story, he is the American dream. Like he is literally the American dream.
And
like
Puerto Rico is American territory.
It's American. He's Puerto Rican. He is an American. People are like, deport him. Deport him where? He was born here. Like he's American. So, and again, people get scared of stuff they don't know.
Yeah, it was different, right? Like
it was different.
It was different, and I was like for the Super Bowl and how it has been, and what people are used to, and what I'm used to, what you're used to, Desmond. Like, let's not be fools here. Like, look, I was expecting to hear some English.
Yeah.
But you know what? I ended up having to look at this and say, you know what? I appreciate this.
It was a vibe. It was a vibe. I kind of just got into the music and was like, okay. And I was tapping my toe. And
I appreciate this man sparking an interest in football for, non-football fans. I appreciate him sparking, and probably some kid somewhere saying, oh, that can be me one day on stage or whatever it is, right? Like, you never know where people are. You never know what they're going through until you put yourself in their shoes. And I think oftentimes we just fail to do that.
Well, so here's my question. Who's left? Who do they get for the halftime show next year?
Oh, you already know what I'm going to say. Let me talk to you, tell you how it is. Chris Brown.
For the halftime show?
Run it.
Nah, I
What
can't.
you mean?
Nah,
You can't do it?
nah, I don't
You showing your age right now. How old
No,
you
it's
is?
not that. It's just
How old you
if
is?
you're
How
if you
old
go
you
that
is?
route, I'd rather be like
How
Bruno
old you
Mars or
is?
something. Like instead
Bruno
of
Mars already did it. What's your name? How old you is, Desmond?
I don't have a
Huh?
problem. I can't not the whole
Listen,
show.
you
It's got
gotta
to him and
get
somebody else.
Chris Brown got the most hits. He's the king. He
They did
like
let Usher do it 2 years ago.
listen, listen. It's been Mike, it's been Usher, and it's Chris Brown. It ain't no Bruno Mars. It ain't nobody.
I was gonna
It
suggest
ain't Keith Sweat. It ain't no.
they
Listen.
don't keep sweat old stuff up
It
there,
is.
grinding them old ladies.
If you don't listen, if you don't leave this show tonight, understanding that there's three.
Chris Breezy,
Okay.
Chris Breezy, man. There's gotta be some. Honestly, I keep landing on Taylor Swift. I keep landing on Taylor
You better
Swift
change it.
because it's got to be somebody the same. Bad Bunny is the highest streamed
Listen,
artist in the world.
Chris Brown is the king, prince, whatever you want to call it, of pop. Now that is Michael Jackson, rest in peace. Usher, he didn't already gave low key.
Usher just did it 2 years ago. Yeah. And he actually did a
Usher
pretty
said,
good show. We don't
and
talk about
Usher,
that halftime show, but Usher did a really good job.
he did a fantastic job because he
Yeah.
had hits after hits after hits. Chris Brown
Still
got hits.
He got
after
Bruno
hits
Mars got hits.
after
Bruno Mars
hits.
done it like twice though. Like he has a
Wake
headline
me
one.
up.
I said the only one left that would actually push the needle for everybody is Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift has said she's been offered like 3 times. Hey, she don't need to do it. It's Taylor Swift. Like it's not going to increase her visibility by doing it or anything.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I ain't trying to hear that.
I ain't trying to hear it too. But I'm just like, that's what I see. I don't want trying to hear Bad Bunny, but like I can see why they went after him. And recently she said she would not do it if Travis Kelce's still an active player. If he's still playing, then she wouldn't do the halftime. So the countdown is on for the NFL to retire Travis Kelce so they can get Taylor Swift.
Who would be the best candidate?
We're missing somebody
for 2026.
The 27th Super Bowl. Well, yeah, Super Bowl 61. That's probably the best way to put it.
Super Bowl.
Because I feel like I'm missing somebody. Beyonce's already done it. I'm like, who else is that? Jay? Jay wouldn't do. Jay-Z's the one that picks the acts. He ain't gonna do it.
So look, you said Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm. Jay-Z? Is he on the list? Drake.
Harry Styles, Post Malone.
I saw Post Malone today. I don't know if Post Malone could carry off a halftime show.
Billie Eilish. Oh, you want to know who would be dope?
Billie Eilish.
Listen, I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna say it on record. Yeah, we can have Taylor Swift. Okay, we know Taylor Swift is the queen of the world. Queen of the world. Okay, but look, if you gave me Adele, I'll be happy.
Does she have like upbeat stuff?
Yeah.
Or is it all like soothing, crooning?
There's a fire.
I guess she could do it. I feel like we're missing. We are missing someone. Someone like who's the biggest musical act in the world besides Bad Bunny and Taylor Swift?
It's just them two, dog.
You know who I'd like to see? The tour that's out right now. New Edition, Boys to Men, Tony Braxton.
Oh, get them on. Oh boy, if they
come to North Carolina, if they haven't already been here. They were in Vegas or something, I think, last week. But
yeah,
I don't know if it's all 6 of them. I think Bobby's off the stuff, so I think he might be there. But if they're all 6 and you got Boys to Men,
right? You ain't right.
You could do that.
You knew he was off the stuff. You ain't have. We know.
I mean, I never know if Bobby's off. I don't know. Bobby knows like half. I think no, he's cleaned himself up. He really has cleaned himself up.
He has.
Yeah, he's done really good. Yeah. Dude, that could work. I'm going to put that in the atmosphere. New Edition, Boys to Men, Super Bowl halftime show. Think all the hits between the 2 groups. And then, like with New Edition, you could Bubba DeVoe. You could do
Gen X Millennial.
Ooh, you could Bubba DeVoe. You could do Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill, Bobby Brown. You could do that. And then Boys to Men comes out and starts doing Motown Philly. Man, let's do that. Let's do
looking good tonight.
I'm going to write it down. New Edition, NE Boys to Men is my halftime
Boys
show.
to Men, ABC, BBB.
They're doing Motown Philly. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I can't think of nobody else. Like, there's nobody that hasn't already done it. Like, Rihanna's done it recently. Usher's done it recently. They probably will go towards country or pop next year because the past 3 or 4 years have been heavy rap R&B.
In LA?
It is in Inglewood. they just did Dre and Snoop, and then that would have been perfect for them to do it. Well, they were in Los Angeles when they did it.
Los Angeles when they did it, yeah.
Why are they in Los Angeles so much for Super Bowl?
It might be Taylor Swift next year.
I'm just saying. Now they got to convince her, and the artists, they pay for this. The NFL doesn't pay the stars to do the Super Bowl halftime show. The artist pays for it out of their pocket. So again, Taylor Swift don't really need the rub.
Who working on the album right now?
Bruno Mars. That's why I brought him up. Like, he's got a single about to drop, I think. That sounds just like Bruno Mars. Like, I could see that. Who else probably got something?
Bruno Mars did it my Super Bowl, I think.
Was he Super Bowl 50? I think he was. Super Bowl 50. Actually, let me put top.
I mean, I wouldn't know because I was in the locker room.
What's your favorite halftime show?
My favorite halftime show would have to be, I ain't gonna hold you, man, Usher, because that was my time.
See, that's how I'm with the Dre, Snoop, Eminem,
I was gonna say it was Usher, and then obviously Snoop, Dre, and them. 50 Cent even showed up. Eminem showed up. Everybody showed up to that.
I go back and rewatch that one. If you go back and watch it on YouTube, it is the cleanest mix. Like, if you're into music, like production stuff, it sounds so good on the TV, like for live. Like, that's why it's my favorite one. And then Michael Jackson, man, he started all this. And I've told people this story. I was just on the radio telling the story last week.
That deep, long pause. Like,
we just stood there and stared at everybody, and people were passing out, fainting. like girl just can't deal with it. Like, just people carrying him out. Like, I mean, he sat for like 3 minutes and didn't say nothing. Just everybody's like, you know why that even happened? Do you know the story about that? Like, why all that even happened?
There was a technical.
No, not that. Why Michael Jackson was doing the halftime show.
Oh no, I don't.
So okay, so real quick, because people were every time I tell them, like, oh, I don't remember that, or I didn't know that. So before there was no Supertime halftime show, they would be like marching bands, like Ohio State or whatever, come out there and do the O and all that stuff, and you would go to the studio. And in '92, Fox decided that they were going to run a special live episode of In Living Color at halftime and pull people away from the Super Bowl to watch a live show. And for those who know, In Living Color, one of the best skit comedy shows of all time, the Wayans family, Damon Wayans, Jim Carrey got his start there, Jamie Foxx got his start there, and this is when they were at their peak. So they did it, and they pulled like 70 million people away from the Super Bowl during the halftime. It was the Redskins and the Broncos, I think it was. So the next year, the NFL was like, no, no. Who is the biggest star on the planet we can get where people will not change the channel if we have him perform during halftime? They called Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson agreed. He paid for his own set and came out, did his thing. And ever since then, they've had an act as a musical act for the Super Bowl. The only other time someone's tried to kind of make it steer away, you probably remember because you're a wrestling fan, like 20-something years ago, WWE did something similar where they did like a special Sunday Night Heat. And it was The Rock and Mankind. They were fighting in an arena that was empty.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was at halftime. Yeah, we went to it, and there's a forklift involved and like all kinds of stuff going on. But they tried it too, and they chopped some of that audience away. And that's when the NFL was like, okay, we got to up our stuff again. So that's why there's a musical show. Jay-Z and Rock Nation took over the booking for this like 5 years ago, I think, and that's when it shifted to Usher, Kendrick Lamar, Dre and Snoop, Bad Bunny, like that stuff. Like before that, the last one I think he didn't do was like Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, which Bad Bunny was at. I didn't even realize that. Bad Bunny actually performed during that halftime show. This wasn't even his first halftime. So,
man, that was an incredible story, Desmond.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I've had practice saying it all week because people are like, what happened during halftime? So yeah, so that's how the halftime show began. So we're gonna go ahead and end this episode. Make sure you follow, rate, and subscribe. Yeah, it's not in time. FanDuel, there's no football, but there's plenty of things you can bet on. Like I said, the Charlotte Hornets, I've won 9 straight games, and as I check this, I hope I can jinx that.
They are in the playoffs, right? They're in the playoffs right now.
They getting there. They trying. They're in the 10th spot right now, so they're in the play-in. But I tell you, this Hornets team, I think they're good enough. Oh yeah, they're up 91. No, the Pistons are up 91-82. 9 minutes to go in the fourth. Let them cook a little bit. They'll probably bring that back. We got some Hornet stuff you can go bet on, some NBA stuff. My boys, Carolina took out Duke on Saturday. You could have bet on that. That's still going on. So there's all kinds of stuff you can bet on for FanDuel. So go over there and check them out for
Football
this as well.
season is over though, right
Football
now.
is over. So
And now it's time to cook. Now it's time to get this Carolina Panthers football team.
And my light's back on. Like I got some electrical issues going over here. So we're gonna stop it right there. Make sure you rate and subscribe to the Bleed Podcast Network. We'll still be putting some episodes out as we get ready for free agency. We'll probably need to pull some folks in to help us out in terms of targets and where to go, needs and stuff like that. So we'll start bringing some guests on and some more cool stuff too. Maybe we get some more former Panthers on during the offseason just to kind of talk and reminisce. So for Jonathan Stewart, this is Desmond Johnson. You've been watching and listening to Believe in Panthers podcast here on Believe Podcast Network, brought to you by the fine folks over at FanDuel. Keep pounding.